How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here. Welcome to another feature match from Locals. Here we are in round 2. So hope you guys enjoy. If you do, be sure to drop a like. It'd be greatly appreciated. But I've been dealing with a cold the past couple of days, so I apologize if my voice sounds a bit off. Feeling a bit better, though, so that's great. But either way, Block Dragon BA, me piloting the deck on the left versus my good friend John piloting Salamangreats on the right. Of course, new list Salamangreat, no Mirage Stalio, obviously being the biggest change. The only change, really. Playing cards like Lion Emperor and Horse Prince in the extra deck now. I believe his build is only playing Lion Emperor. I don't think he is playing Horse Prince, although I think, finding a way to fit both of those cards into the extra deck is kind of key, because they're both fantastic cards for the deck. So going to Balinks, obviously with the very, very powerful Buffalo combo, and then using Spinny to trigger the Gazelle summoning itself, putting that Roar into the graveyard so we can get Roar back off of its own effect, and then he can recycle that circle if he so desires. Playing his field spell now. Debating on linking off the Gazelle and the Balinks, but it's going to make a rank 3. Where's Mirage Stalio, though? Oh, wait, it's not there. So you got to make Lion Emperor now, which will detach to basically add back, I believe, a level 4 or lower fire monster from your grave to your hand. So he's going to add back Gazelle immediately, since he already has legal targets in the grave upon detaching. So Lion Emperor basically allowing you to restack your hand for the next turn. As you can see, he's already got Gazelle back, whereas normally you'd be getting that monster back off of Sunlight Wolf. Now you can get one back on top of the Sunlight Wolf, using the Lion Emperor, as he just did here. So summoning out the Foxy, and then adding back Buffalo off of the Sunlight Wolf, as opposed to just going for the Gazelle, getting 2 cards back to his hand. So has Buffalo Gazelle for next turn already, which is pretty fantastic. Relinking for another Sunlight Wolf, so that's going to reset the Roar, and also add back the copy of Circle, leaving the copy of Will to the graveyard. Setting 2 alongside the Roar. One of them, obviously, we know is a Will, or not a Will, but a Circle. So I have to try to break this board. I know there's a lot of back row. Breaking back row can be pretty hard with BA turn 1, because, so much is relying on getting your early combo pieces, like, in play, getting your Cherubini Dante, and sometimes they just don't let you get to that point, and you don't have the right extenders. You kind of just get stuck dead in your tracks. So, I mean, it's a very interesting situation to try to play out of. But I open the one of Foolish Burial, and I'm gonna use that just to send Farfa immediately. I'm like, I could send an extender, but I want to start forcing out some of this back row immediately, since I don't need the Foolish, I believe, to be able to combo. So I dump the Farfa. That'll bait the Will effect, or not the Will, the Circle, my bad, to protect the Sunlight Wolf, to make it unaffected by monster effects for the rest of the turn. And I open the one of Nessie as well. That'll discard Giant Rex. And in my hand, I have Sea Archiver and the O-Lion. So very interesting. I just realized I could have also normaled the O-Lion to the zone that the Sunlight Wolf points to get the Sea Archiver on the board, but I just didn't. And instead, I'm going to go right into Nightmare Phoenix, because again, we're just trying to clear this back row as fast as possible. I believe I'm discarding the Sea Archiver here. So O-Lion 2, Phoenix 1. Discarding for a cost, and then he's gonna go ahead and use the Roar, or the Rage rather. And I believe I had a question here, whether or not the Phoenix would still get its draw even though it was destroyed, no longer co-linked. But I did ask a judge, which is something I'm trying to do more often in 2020, is ask judges more questions, because too many times people lose games because they're afraid to ask the judge, afraid to call the judge. Do not be afraid. Always ask the judge if you got a question. Don't rely on your opponent, especially if you don't know them. But either way, the Phoenix will allow me to get the draw thanks to the judge's confirmation. So because it was co-linked upon activation. So Roar rather. No, Rage won't prevent it from giving me a draw. And then summoning out Block Dragon, banishing Giant Rex, and then using the Sea Archiver here to make the BLS link. I'm going to try to resolve the Block Dragon effect in Grave, and there's the last back row, which is that copy of Roar. I'm going to go right into battle phase, swing over the Balinks for as much damage as I can. I know he has Bailing's Engraved to protect, so I won't be able to use the other effects of the Blackluster Soldier link. Really being the only good link that I had to go into at this point. And this is why I love the BLS link. A lot of people ask me, why do I play this card? Like, it's just fantastic against so many matchups. Cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. A lot of decks will have a hard time dealing with that, and it will force out certain things. Especially if you're able to force out the battle phase with cards like Fossil Dyna. Basically means they're not going to be able to clear it because they need Borreload in the battle phase to get rid of it. But in a situation like this, had I been able to clear, you know, one of his monsters, you know, I'm potentially just removing one other card for free, which is fantastic. And it's an Earth monster too, so I really do love the BLS link. I mean, arguably you could cut it, but I just don't think it's worth cutting at all. It's just such a fantastic card. It's coming clutch time and time again. For me, and it's just not worth cutting, I don't think. So he's going to summon out Foxy and summon out Gazelle. That'll dump the copy of the Roar to the graveyard. And also added back the Will at the start of the turn, or not the Will, the Circle. My apologies, I'm getting so many things mixed up. Also has Jack Jaguar engraved too. Hasn't normal summoned yet, so looks like he's going to normal summon Flame Buffalo. And debating on what he's going to link off with. So we could possibly see an Update Jammer play into Transcode or Borreload. Because essentially, I mean, at this point you have to go for Borreload if you're Salamangreat, because you really don't have any other ways to get over the BLS link. So now resolving Buffalo, and then adding back off of the Sunlight Wolf effect from the summon of the the Update Jammer. And now we're going to see him possibly link into the Link 4. Known as Borreload Dragon, and then of course the effective Update Jammer will kick in to be able to, you know, make it so it can attack twice. But before he does that, he'll summon a copy of Spinny from the graveyard, just free link fodder. Doesn't care if it's getting banished at this point. Going for Heat Leo, and then linking off everything on the board into Borreload Dragon except the Heat Leo, and still hasn't used the relink effect of the field spell yet, so could relink into another Heat Leo if he wants to be able to get his Roar in the graveyard back, which is exactly what he's going to do. Just like that. And also, I believe, might have a third Bailings to link off the Jack Jaguar if he wants to be able to make sure that Roar is 100% live. But obviously, the writing is on the wall there, and I'm just going to scoop, and we're going to head into game 2. And as we do, of course, a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in this playmat that we are using, or any of the sleeves that I'm using in my main or extra deck, you're just picking up some amazing dice or deck boxes, calculator cases, you name it, check out Imperium Duelist down in the description below. And that discount code, WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. No, what's really tragic, though, that Gallus missing by milling a Pot of Avarice. I believe that might have been the first Gallus of the tournament. No, it definitely wasn't the first Gallus of the tournament, because you guys saw the previous feature match of this deck playing against Orcus round 1. We were able to take the dub there. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend. But anyways, Cherry Beanie is still going through here. We're still able to play because I do have another BA in hand to follow up with that Rhino Warrior, because the protection that Rhino Warrior offers to all Fiend monsters, making sure the Farfa doesn't auto-explode. Crusadia Leonis coming in very clutch here to help complete this Dante. But it would have been very, very bad if I had not opened a BA to be able to, like, even complete Cherry Beanie. It would have just been a dead, unsummonable monster in my hand. But we're into Dante, we are into Cherry Beanie. I've got the Block Dragon, got plenty of Earths engraved to get it out, at least once. I have an Egypt Sabers, I have a Gizmek, so at this point I'm sort of debating on, like, do I go for Appaloosa, or do I just try to turbo into a Saryuja, because I know if I do, I'll have 3 cards in hand to be able to work with, and then draw 4, I'll have a total of 7, so I'll be able to take my hand size from 3 to 4. And that should allow me to start trying to combo quite a bit here. Obviously, there's no Curious play available currently. So I decided to use Gizmek here because I want that extra body on board to be able to get the, obviously, 4 different names for the Saryuja. Now, granted, like, you can play around Nibiru with this deck, because I do play Appaloosa in the main deck, but at any given point, I often feel that in some cases it's almost not worth going for it. Specifically in that situation where if I do go for the Appaloosa, and I do negate it, I'm left with what would be a 1600 token. I guess I could make a Beatrice and have no way to get the Fossil Dyna out of my hand. So, like, I mean, I don't know. At this point, though, with the amount of resources I had on field, the extra token I would get, and all the graveyard effects that would trigger, I kind of just said, you know what, let's just keep going. If he has it, he has it. And lo and behold, he did have it. So still going to be able to try to play through this nonetheless. We still got plenty of resources to work with. 2 bodies on board, an Edgem Sabers in grave, as well as a Gigantes in hand. Gizmek, of course, have been exhausted at this point. Using Sabers, I decided I might want to stack the Gigantes, but that would be a bad decision. So I just go ahead and summon the Gigantes that I almost stacked to go into Saryuja. And luckily I have the Dante to chain block. So I can add back the Graph and use the Saryuja effect here. Now I do have to draw into one of the cards that I stacked, which is very, very unfortunate. But all at the sake of, you know, being able to at least resolve a Saryuja effect here. And I have 2 BAs in my hand, so those are obvious putbacks. But I also have a Glow Up Bulb, a Giant Rex, and a Psychic Wielder. I'm like debating, do I put back the, you know, the Fossil Dyna? Maybe I can make something work here where I can get Dyna on board. But the biggest deterrent to putting Dyna on the board at this point is that Nibiru. It's just going to be able to run it over. Yes, it will force his battle phase, but, you know, it's just going to get outed extremely quick. So I special summon the bulb off the Saryuja and then summon Block Dragon by banishing Giant Rex and 2 other Earths. So I have a Nat Beast play here. And I also potentially have a Curious play lined up as well. So we're trying to make that happen. So we're going to synchro into the Beast. Mill a Mathematician off the Glow Up Bulb. And here I have a plant, a rock, and a dragon to try to be able to link into Curious. So I'm going to try to go for Curious here. Curious has actually been extremely clutch here to dump another extender into the grave, but he has Ash Blossom. So had he not have that Ash Blossom, I think we're in business, like 100%. But, you know, had to play through a Nibiru and an Ash, still ending on at least Nat Beast with Curious. So if he does clear the Curious, I'll get something back off of it. If he clears the Block Dragon, I'll get something back off of it. And he's going to have to use like sort of an early preemptive battle phase here if he wants to get rid of the Nat Beast. But starting strong, though, with Flame Buffalo. Discarding Foxy. We won't be able to have access to Foxy until, of course, he goes into the battle phase to clear Nat Beast. Now, I was very close from being able to make an Avermax here. I just needed one other monster to be able to combo with. To link the Block Dragon and the other monster into like a Nightmare Cerberus, then link the Cerberus and the Curious into Avermax. And at that point, I've got an Avermax protecting my Nat Beast, and an Avermax he's going to have a very hard time outing, one that cannot be targeted, which will be very difficult for Salamangreats to deal with. He'll need to make a Boar Load, but with an Nat Beast on field, that'll stop some crucial extenders, but just wasn't able to get there. Unfortunately. So he's going to go into the battle phase, immediately run over the Nat Beast, because that'll open up the field spell. Then he'll ditch the Falco for the Foxy in the grave. And of course, you know, the Nat Beast turning off other amazing cards like Silent Mining, Will of the Salamangreat, Salamangreat Circle, obviously Salamangreat Sanctuary. A lot of great cards it will turn off. So we're going to link now the Falco and the Baylinks into Sunlight Wolf. Then relinking immediately into another one. Setting 3 back row and passing, it will look like. So, end phase here, I'm pretty low on card count as is in the main, but I decided I'm going to get this Gizmek on board regardless. And I summon to the zone that the Sunlight Wolf points to, not even realizing it. And he doesn't add back, but I guess it doesn't make too big of a difference. Now, here's probably one of my biggest misplay as I load up the gun to send off of Dingirsu. I'd never used the effect of Gizmek, which could have baited out the impermanence. Now, this, of course, is a bit of a case of hindsight is 2020. But there was a reason I wanted to summon Gizmek in the end phase so I could use the pop effector in this turn to bait out more back row, which I just failed to do. And I still would have been able to make a ding. But anyways, I go into battle phase and crash my Curious to be able to add back any card in my grave. And there's that Pot of Avarice sitting there since the first turn of the game. So I'm going to go for that. And Dingirsu is still going to have some damage to put on, so I'll try to run over the Sunlight Wolf. But of course, Balinks will protect. Now, I have a Lancia in my hand. Now, you're probably wondering, Winter, why are you side decking Lancia against Salamangreat? Well, I knew that I'd be having the priority of going first here in Game 2, and I know there's going to be cards sided in alongside Nibiru, such as evenly matched, and if I get evenly matched, it's a complete blowout. So I know if I do full combo, I'll definitely be able to see a Lancia, and having Lancia to stop that evenly match is very, very clutch. So that's why I put it in, not because I think it's great against, stopping Salamangreat, but it just stops evenly matched. So that's why it is in there for those that are wondering. For those that might be a bit clueless as to why I have Lancia in my hand in this particular matchup. So yeah, the Avarice resolves, which is surprising. I'm drawing into Graph and drawing into Gigantes. Now, Gigantes is a good draw because I have the Giant Rex engraved. So Giant Rex will summon itself out immediately after summoning the Gigantes. Now, I have the opportunity, if I was playing a rank 4, to be able to make a rank 4, but I'm not playing a rank 4 because I just do not have the room currently. I don't even know what I would cut. Maybe a Nightmare monster, but like the Nightmares are so great in this deck because they're just free Link 2s. One of them which is an Earth. They offer discard outlets, which is like imperative, especially going against back row heavy matchups. Get things out of your hand that you don't want, allowing you to get co-linked draws. They help a lot. They might not have the best arrow scheme, but, still really good nonetheless. So, I'm debating on using the Sabers in my hand to stack a Lancia, but I don't want to be in an endless loop of drawing the same card, for at least one more turn. I'm thinking, do I want to go into a Nightmare as is? But I decide to use a normal summon up on the Graph, and that will summon out Farfa. Then Farfa tries to activate. Now, this is where using that Gizmek effect earlier on would have been clutch, because my Dingirsu would not be negated by the impermanence, although I feel like he probably would have negated the Gizmek with the imperm, still allowing me to make Dingirsu, which would allow me to protect from this copy of Rage. But nonetheless, he's going to blow up everything, and I'm going to pass it back to him. End phase, his Sunlight Wolf will return. And there's a Signet Mining to add that Gazelle back, discarding the Foxy. Normal summoning Gazelle now. And going to use this fact to dump another copy of the Roar to the grave. So, playing multiple Roar, I think, being like the way to go currently, since you can use its reset effect so easily, and once that one gets banished, you want to at least have another copy in the main deck to be able to have access to. So I believe he's going to use the other effect of Heat Leo here. Not the spin effect, obviously, because there is no back row on my side of the field to put back. But he's going to manipulate the attack of my Dingirsu here momentarily. Obviously, I am, very, very close to being OTK'd right here. I'm within range, but I don't think he has the extenders to do so. Really just one monster short at this point. So he's going to relink into Heat Leo. That will do one of two things. Allow it to use the attack manipulation effect with that Ash Blossom engraved. So he's going to target the Ash, target Dingirsu, and also reset that Roar. And he has a 23 Heat Leo and a 3k Nibiru. And I have a live Dingirsu, so my Dingirsu can protect if need be, which I'm definitely going to, because if I don't, well, it doesn't matter if I don't protect, but I want to keep this body on board, for presence next turn. So he's going to attack with the Nibiru. I'm going to protect. I'll take the 3k, dropping me down to 36, and I'll take another 23, dropping me down to 13. And I'm definitely going to protect there as well, detaching the Gizmek. He'll set one. And I know he has a copy of Roar. And I draw, I believe, a Jackalope for turn. I have, like, very, very low cards in the deck at this point. He hits the Jackalope, and I actually have no targets left in the main. Which is extremely unfortunate. I've resolved Gizmek twice this game, so I'm down 16 cards. Now, normally, this isn't like how Gizmek, obviously takes it there, has has an impermanence, a Rage, and a Roar set, so, like, I'm not going to be able to play through that at all. I think that was a big misplay on my behalf, though, not using the Gizmek earlier, using its destruction effect. This is what we cited, and I think I just cited in Triple Lancia, but my predictions were correct. He did side an evenly match, so was not a bad side deck call. Most people do side evenly match against the Block Dragon BA deck because they really don't have anything on board that can stop it. Unless, of course, you have a Set Judgment or maybe a Barkion, but no board really ends on that currently. At least not yet. Anyways, wink, wink. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I think that last game there just came down to some bad luck. A bit of a misplay not using the Gizmek. And maybe should have gone for the Appaloosa before the Nibiru hit the board. But again, I was still able to play through it and possibly could have ended on Avermax, Nat Beast. I was just one extender short at the end of the day. But, you know, obviously close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, as they say. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Reminder, I am doing a charity live stream on February 9th. Check that out in the description below. And also, don't forget to use my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below as well. And anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, WinnerKill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.